use it. Paper plane here from adelscott. He's got the paper plane there. It's dropping off the stalkers, and it is just going to survive. The paper plane almost destroyed there, but attempted to go in there and drop off some stalkers, but didn't seem to actually work very well, given that he saw there were some Hellions defending. But we've got a medevac coming across here, and we've got a third expansion going up for GoOdy. So he's doing the same sort of thing. He's going to move out here and take as much as he can. Now, this is obviously the advantage of this map, is that you can take the island expansion and just secure that up with a planetary fortress or some turrets. Now, we've got, how many units have we got here? We've got a total of 4 tanks at the moment, 7 Marines, 5 Vikings, a couple of Hellions. And we're going to see a little bit of a push here, I think, from adelscott. He's got a couple of, he's got 1 Colossus, he's got 1 paper plane with some zealots in it. He might even be attempting the very Brood War-esque move of dropping, using the paper plane to drop some zealots on top of tanks. This 1 tank is down. We are now down to 4 tanks once again. Here he goes. He is actually going to try and come in, but the paper plane goes down just to the 3 Vikings that were here. adelscott coming in here to actually try and take out this command center, but there are the 4 tanks now up on the high ground. He does a great job of blocking off the SCVs and the mules that were here. So GoOdy has actually lost a lot of his mining forces here. He's gone down just to 41 harvesters. He probably had about almost double that before, but we see that the tanks do actually hold off this particular attack. We've got a command center on about almost half health here at the natural, and he's just in a lot of trouble in terms of securing this base. Now, this is not the same timing push I was thinking of before, but it's a similar sort of thing, in that if you are spending a lot of money on your tanks, then you are not expanding. However, if you're spending your money on your orbital commands here, and you're, not to mention the other planetary fortress that's up here, you're realistically not going to have enough forces to defend. And as we can see here, GoOdy has to really slowly move out and take back this natural here in his base. And meanwhile, all that we've got here is a whole heap of immortals that have actually come out for adelscott. He's got all of these immortals here taking no damage at all from the tanks. They are taking a bit of damage from the Marines that are up here in the bunker, but they actually just walk away from that particular battle. Now, adelscott's expanded himself. He has now got his own island expansion down in the bottom right corner, and he's also got the natural up and running. Of course, I mentioned that before, and the base at the 2 o'clock. So adelscott's in a really good economy position here. As you can see up in the counting station, is that adelscott's up at almost 1,400 minerals and almost 500 gas. He's got 57 harvesters as opposed to GoOdy's 37. So GoOdy's really in a bit of a troublesome position here. What he really needs to do is sort of move out, get some tanks on the high grounds here, try and secure this gold expansion. If he can get the gold expansion up and running, he would actually be in, he would catch up and be in a really good position, but we'll have to see what happens with that. We've got the Hellions here. They do not have Blue Flame, I believe. Oh, Blue Flame is done. It looks as if here he goes. He's going for this drop again that I mentioned he is very fond of. In fact, he's not actually going to drop. He's just going to send those Hellions down here to harass. This is one pretty big thing about this particular build, is that you really need to do some good harass here. Blue Flame cleaning up these probes, just ripping through all of them. There are a whole lot of kills between all of these guys here. They are not going to escape. 6 immortals come down and just absolutely obliterate those Hellions. Those guys are going to need new bikes, but I suppose they're not bikes anymore. They're not vulture bikes anymore, but 4-wheel drives, we call them. And the immortals are just going to come up here. We've now got a total of 7 immortals up here at the Zelnaga Watchtower. Now, this is what I'm talking about before in terms of counters to the mech build, in that you've got all of these immortals here. Look, now, GoOdy's got, what, 6 tanks at the moment. That's a lot of tanks. Normally it is a lot of tanks. With the nerf to tank damage, they are actually going to take the stalkers are going to take obviously the most damage here, given that the immortals have their hardened shield, which reduces the damage, the incoming damage from the tanks. We've got a couple of colossi now, which are going to do range damage to the tanks as well. And this is really just where this build starts to fall apart, in that there are just so many counters that actually stack up for the Protoss and actually favor them. And as you can see, what GoOdy's going to do is he's actually going to get a ghost down to try and counter the immortals as much as he can. Now, this is one redeeming part about this, is if you can get some ghosts out, you are going to be able to EMP and do a great job of actually lowering the shields of the immortals. The thing is, though, once again, is that the ghosts actually take up a lot of gas, of course. So you actually need to be on, probably efficiency would say you would need to be on about 3 bases to actually make the ghosts a part of your army and make them an actually useful part of your army. So we've got another Hellion drop here from GoOdy. He's going to try and move in the back here and take out the probes here at the 2 o'clock position. There is 2 cannons here. The cannons will probably clean all of this up. The Hellions do get a few kills, though. The Hellions are going to come in here. Unfortunately, with the auto-targeting, they're going to target the cannons there and not actually do too much damage at all. But a couple of them will get away. They get a couple of extra probes. And we also have a very tricky maneuver here from adelscott. He's actually blinked a stalker across the ridge here. I did not even know you could do that, but I suppose that is pretty close. He's moved one stalker across to the planetary fortress here, but of course, given that it is a planetary fortress, one stalker is in no way enough to take it. Now, we've got a bit of a tank crawl coming here from GoOdy. He's got 13 tanks now. He's got 6 Vikings, 14 tanks, 4 ghosts, and 8 Hellions. So we're going to see him probably crawl across the map here. Now, this is a very key time for our Protoss player. He really needs to either make his move on the Terran forces to make sure that GoOdy does not get in a position where he can just destroy any of these Protoss forces from range. Now, this is the line that I'm talking about. If you have a line of these units here actually just all sieged up, ready to go, they are going to steamroll anything that comes towards them. But this is the problematic part, is when you need to move forward and take out other units. But the tanks do a great amount of damage there, cleaning up all of the immortals and cleaning out some of the stalkers as well. There are just so many tanks here cleaning up all of these forces here. The Vikings on patrol, looking out for more Colossi. 3 immortals here, just taking out, you see all of these tanks that actually died. This was actually full of tanks. There were probably there's only 5 tanks left in this particular region now, but there was probably, I'd say there was about 8 or 9 tanks here, but they all got cleaned up by the immortals. So once again, that's just tapping back onto the power of the counters that Protoss can have now, in terms of the immortals, and obviously the blink as well. Now that the stalkers do actually have their blinking on top of the tanks is a really powerful aspect of one of the counters that Protoss can come against you with. So we're going to see some more immortals coming out here. Some mortals coming out here from adelscott. He's going to move some stalkers around just to make sure he can keep on top of what's happening. He sees the medevac here, and medevac goes down. Not really sure what that was doing. It looks as if adelscott's going to try and move across here. He may be aware of this command center that was moving up to this position here. He really does not want to let the Terran get ahead in the bases. So he's we've got GoOdy moving across here. He's got some tanks sieged up. This is where he needs to start crawling across the map. So he needs to get some turrets up, of course, to help out with air defense. And obviously there are a lot of Vikings, which will take care of that as well. But he just really needs to be very careful with the movements. So this is one thing where all of you, the guys who may try and attempt this sort of build, just be very careful. This is where you need to be on the move, but just actually watching exactly what you're doing with your tanks, because if you get either flanked, or if you actually leapfrog too many of your tanks, you are just going to get absolutely stomped. And it looks as if adelscott's going to try and move his immortals out into position so he can attack here, and it looks as if these stalkers are going to come across and flank from the back as well. They are actually cutting off all sorts of forces here as well. We've got the stalkers moving in here. I suspect there's going to be a blink right on top of them. And no blink, the stalkers are pretty much dead now. We've got some other stalkers here from the other side though. The immortals coming in to clean up everything. There we go. That's 2 of the counters in just one force there. That was not even counting Void Rays controlling the skies. That was not counting Colossi doing damage from range. So we just see another great move from a Protoss against this this mech force. So just another thing to be careful of there. That was a lot more. It was a bit safer of a move by GoOdy there. He moved a lot slower across this position here to the Zelnaga watchtower, but it was just unfortunate that we had the stalkers in the back providing some decoy here in this position when they moved through, and also that there was just a blink on top of the tanks. There was just not enough to take out all of the stalkers, and that was something like how many we've got. We've got 6 immortals here. I think he started out with about 8, but just without the extra gas of this fourth base or the gold base, it was just not enough to keep up with the production that you need to take care of all of these units. Now, so that was game 2, where we saw a bit more of a very immortal heavy play from the Protoss opponent. We're going to go have a look at game 3 shortly, and hopefully we will see GoOdy come up with a win with this particular build, and we'll have a look and see what makes the game a bit more satisfying in terms of mech play. So thanks very much for watching this, guys. We'll see you in the next game.